What's a little-known survival fact that everyone should know? I'm not positive what the original reasoning was, but I know if you have wet socks and shoes on for an extended period of time you can get blisters and sores on your feet that can lead to all sorts of nasty diseases, fungi, infections, etc. Also, if you're in a cold environment and you've got wet, dirty feet, then you're just begging for hypothermia. I think it's just most important to be able to move. If you're not moving, you're dead. If your feet are covered in sores and you can't walk, how are you supposed to survive? The reason for this is black bears are scavengers, so playing dead just makes you more appealing to them. They're generally less aggressive, so just try not to get between a mama and her babies. Black bears can also be brown, so don't just go by color. Grizzlies are generally more aggressive, but if they do attack, it's worthwhile to play dead because there's a chance they'll leave you alone if they see you're not a threat. Carry bear spray if you know you'll be in bear territory and know how to use it. If you encounter a bear, talk calmly to it while slowly backing away. Chances are you'll be okay. Bear spray possession is illegal some places, notably Yosemite and Sequoia/Kings Canyon National Parks. I heard a ranger talk about the changes to bears since the food protection rules went into effect in the Sierras since the 1990s. Human/bear incidents and property damage are down by 85%. Interestingly, the bears are less aggressive, because they have learned they aren't going to get food from you. The ranger actually said it's okay to throw pine cones and small rocks at the bear's butt, to make their human encounters an irritating event. In the winter, keep a blanket, a candle, and a couple matches in the car. If you ever get stuck in a blizzard or can't get home for whatever reason, light the candle, throw the blanket on and sleep the night. You'll be cold, but it'll keep you alive even if the car is completely buried in snow. If your car is hurried in snow, I'd be worried a candle could consume too much oxygen. Also, wouldn't a hurried car be better insulated overall? Montreal, Quebec had people die 2 years ago during a snowstorm in which the highway got blocked and people were stranded. A first world, metropolitan area. Always keep blankets in your car. The candle is even more effective if you burn it in an empty coffee can. In fact, you can keep the emergency items in it so it is relatively waterproof. If you are able to run the car sparingly for heat, ensure the exhaust pipe isn't blocked to avoid carbon monoxide backing up into the car. Also keep a window on the downwind side of the car open a 1/4 inch or so for fresh air. You can get a high visibility help flag, but new cars don't have antennas, so we keep one of those bamboo sticks you get with flowers with our kit to fly it, so if we were stuck inside a snow-covered car, passers-by wouldn't think the car was abandoned. If you get off the trail and get lost, stay put, bring a whistle. You won't find your way back most of the time, and others will have an easier time finding you if you're stationary. It's really easy to get lost. You can't yell or scream for a long time, but you can blow a whistle, for hours, hee hee. Either blow thrice or SOS, doesn't matter, most of the time someone will radio/call the authorities and the mountain/forest rescue will get to you. Whistles can travel for miles. If you want to shine on an airplane/helicopter, make a victory or OK sign with your other hand and reflect the light off a mirror/smartphone. Your smartphone is also a mirror, through your other hand aimed at the vehicle. An emergency survival kit with a bivvy. That survival sleeping bag thing, I can't remember what's it called, first aid kit, extra water, a flashlight and a few nut bars can save your life and fit into a small sack that you should always have in your backpack, even if it's an afternoon hike. An extra pair of socks and underwear, thought that was gonna be just a fart, huh? Is great too. You will feel like a moron while you pack these in your daypack/3-day pack/backpacking. And 99% of the time you won't need them, and there is a very high chance you will never use them outdoors in your entire life, just like bear spray or CCW. But, God forbid, the one time you'll need them, you can save your own life or someone else's life. Also have a fire extinguisher in your car. Ever tried to stop a rubber/wire insulation electric fire? Yeah, you won't be able to, and your car will sooner burn to scrap metal than you doing anything meaningful without a proper fire extinguisher. You might also be the dude that saves someone else's car too. This one is a bit more out there, but if you're in a situation where search and rescue has likely been activated but you need to move area for whatever reason, try and leave very obvious, visible man-made signs from the air. It can be anything from digging, burning an arrow into an open field, cutting down saplings in a way that forms an unnatural pattern or line, or arranging rocks into large shapes in clearings. Your end goal should be to give a general direction of travel from your last known location visible to an airplane or helicopter in places where it would make sense for a human to walk, since those are the areas where a search and rescue team are going to pay more attention. A couple other things. A personal locator beacon isn't the cheapest piece of kit, but even if you're just going on a few hours hike, it's one of those things that it never hurts to bring. A PLB, sturdy knife, fire starter, and water filtration. I keep a couple of life straws, should be the bare minimum for any trip more remote than say a nature walk on very established trails. Always bring 3x the amount of water you think you will need as well. If you end up not needing it, you can dump out the containers and crush them for easy storage, so that if you need them later you can fill up at a natural water source and use purification methods on the water. However, one of the most common things I hear out of people is, well, I was only going out for a few hours, I didn't think I would need much water. Yes, water is heavy. It will probably shorten your range a little bit or slow your pace. But water is just one of those things that you don't skip out on, especially in arid climates where I tend to find myself. As far as food goes, my favorite trick is buy a container of protein workout mix, ask the person behind the counter for the bulking formula. That stuff is 500 to 1,000 calories a shake, and if you're creative enough, can be packed super small as a good emergency food source provided you're able to reasonably have enough water. That combined with a bottle of multivitamins can keep you going for quite a while. Another lesser known trick is to have what I refer to as a bug out cardinal direction. As in, if you get lost during your trek, you know that if you would generally, let's say, southeast, it will bring you to a road/river/landmark etc. that will help you in some way. This does require a decent compass, however a decent compass should only run you about $20 to $25. At the end of the day, the takeaway from most of this though, is that preparedness is always preferential. Yes, there are those rare cases where a plane crashes, or you crash your car in the woods and have to hike out, but most survival situations happen because unfamiliarity with the area that you're in. Knowing how to build a proper shelter, bringing along things to build said shelter, having the proper gear and pre-planning for the expedition you're undertaking, knowing the local wildlife and how best to deal with it, checking the weather beforehand or the general weather patterns, these are all things that, while much more boring than a lot of the really cool entries here, will save you from having to use survival techniques and give you a solid plan to fall back on in case you do find yourself in a true survival situation once your food, water reserves run out. Learn the universal eatability test to determine if you can eat a plant, which is basically 1. Separate the plant into parts. 2. Starting with one part, smell it and check for foul odor. If it doesn't smell bad, move to next step. 3. Rub plant against skin. If no reaction, move to next step. 4. Chew plant and spit it out. If no reaction, move to next step. 5. Swallow a small amount of the plant, wait several hours. If no reaction, you're good to go and eat that plant. There are very few wild animals that are a significant threat to human life in most of America. The ones that are a threat aren't ones most people think about, like Africanized, killer, bees. I'll take an encounter with a grizzly any day over accidentally getting too close to a beehive. In the desert Southwest, however, javelina will absolutely ruin your day. You're not likely to be killed, but you're gonna have some gnarly scars and a big hospital bill if you run into them.